AR has been around for quite a while. However, it is now becoming something that's commercially viable, that can be reproduced and used in context with what we would call a traditional multi-channel marketing strategy today. There are really 5 things that we see in the marketplace happening today that are making that point possible. The first one is the technology is being driven a lot in part by 2 of the largest manufacturers of the devices that we carry around in our pockets every day. That would be Apple and Google. So we've got the iTunes or the iOS effort on the iPhone, and then you've got the Google Android effort happening on an Android device. And these devices are ubiquitous. They're everywhere on the planet. And that phone makes it possible, first of all, to interact with AR content. And both Apple and Google do have a software structure within their operating system that will enhance the usability of the phone through AR. Second thing that's really important to note, we're undergoing a point in time where we now can do a lot more with media because of the handheld device that's in our pocket. That is more interactive, more media rich, meaning including video and 3D and animation and so many more things that you can do now on that small screen that we didn't have access to just on a regular computer screen, that are making AR something that is basically be mainstream. If you've heard of the concept of the Internet of Things, that device that you carry in your pocket, that phone that you carry, is a controller device for the IoT or for the Internet of Things. So theoretically, anything that you produce that carries an AR content message with it can be viewed as a thing on the internet when paired with the mobile phone that the consumer has in their pocket. And we can talk a little bit more about that in a little bit here. The other really big reason why we think the time has come, AR's time has come, because the tool sets that are available to anybody that's in the production space right now they're pervasive. So they're everywhere. And our software platform is an example of a tool set that makes it really, really easy to use and create AR content and deploy AR content right alongside of a traditional workflow that they were already used to working in to produce things. And then lastly, this time around, there's just been an enormous amount of capital and dollars expended to bring AR to the forefront. And that money is being spent by some very, very large companies like Apple and Google and Samsung and Facebook and Snapchat and Microsoft, and on and on and on you go. So there's an enormous amount of investment in laying the groundwork for the infrastructure that it's going to take to create and deploy AR as a medium. In our tool, there are 4 different workflows, or 4 different experience types that we can create and deploy. So this might help you understand what you can actually do with AR. First type of AR is what's known as marker-based AR. And marker-based AR is simply any augmented reality experience that happens on your phone or your tablet that's triggered by the camera on that device seeing something that's placed in front of it. And that something could be a printed document, a printed image, it could be certainly anything that you can print, but it also can be an object, a thing that you bump into out there in the world. So the camera sees something, that something is recognized, and then that triggers the download of an experience to the user's phone. This would be an example of a pretty simple use case. And what you're going to see here is a monthly bill from Charter Spectrum. So when the user hovers over their phone with the app open, it gives that document some pretty significant interactivity that links the consumer from the document to, in this case, existing web content without having to open up a web browser. So the AR here actually becomes a user interface to that document that connects the individual from a paper experience to a pixel experience on the phone. And this has huge, huge, huge application. In this case, when they tap the phone number, it actually dials the user's phone and takes them right to the customer service area on the statement. And then in a second, when they go back, you're going to see there's going to be a video playing that's being triggered by what the camera sees on the page. So you can see right there, there's a video that they're able to watch and participate and listen to as well. So the second type of augmented reality experience that you might see a lot of today is something that's probably being promoted more by Apple and Google, since their AR Kit and AR Core are predominantly play in the markerless AR space. Now, markerless AR is different from marker-based AR, not because the name, well, actually the name says it all. In a markerless experience, the camera doesn't have to see an object or a thing in order to trigger the experience. In markerless-based AR, the camera is looking for a surface, meaning a flat horizontal surface. And once that surface is detected, the user can then drag items onto the screen that they can then see in 3D as if they're in front of them right there in front of them. So you've got 3 different examples on the screen here of, in this case, this is my backyard, and through an application we created for the Got Milk people, there's a 3D cow that you can place in the yard, and it looks like the cow is actually standing in your yard. And then with the phone on and pointed at the cow, you can walk all the way around that cow and see him from every direction, every angle, and so forth. Here's an example of a company that's using it to do product interaction. So you can actually drag and drop one of their machines onto the floor and actually see if it'll fit in a space, and then walk around it and so forth. And here's another application, which is a furniture application, which I can illustrate here with another little video. So in this case, the furniture retailer has got their catalog online so that you can actually visualize what furniture looks like in the space that you're in. And then you can move it around the room and see if it'll fit and see if you like the color. And then if you want to snap a picture of it, you can take a picture, or you can immediately order it from that app. So that's marker-based and marker-less. There are a couple of other variations on those 2 themes that we can also achieve, and that is something called location-based AR. And in location-based AR, we can tag a marker to trigger a different experience based on where the user is standing when they scan that experience. So in this case, imagine you walk into a Kroger or into an Albertsons store in Texas. There's a jug of milk on the shelf. You open it up and you scan the label. Because that milk jug is in Dallas, Texas, we can tie a specific order or offer to that location that the consumer can interact with. But if I was holding the same app and I was in a store, in an Albertsons store, maybe in LA, I could see a completely different offer because I'm in a different geographic location. So we can create these regionalized, localized content experiences that happen on the phone, all tied to physical location. Another thing that we can do, and this is a little bit of corny gumbo, but we can also create and deliver personalized AR experiences. So very much the way that you can deliver variable data, in the form of print, we can do the same thing with interactive content. So in this example, you can see a video that plays, and this video is constructed and delivered dynamically on the fly and contains information that's specific to the user that we're delivering through the mobile device. There's just another example of that. So I can actually call the person out by name. I can actually enhance the video, meaning all this video content can be driven by some data point that we're using to construct the video dynamically. And we can pretty much use the same print stream that you're using to produce a document to produce this video content. These are some stats. I'm not sure if stats are applicable, but the U.S. Post Office is definitely on board with AR. They're, in some of their case studies, they're showing a significant increase in interaction with print because of AR. We firmly believe that AR does enhance the print experience. It also makes that printed item significantly more valuable to the consumer when they're holding it in their hands, especially when they know they can use it to get to other content that might help them in a decision or in some sort of call to action or so forth. Well, I'm not sure it's appropriate now, but there's the United States Post Office currently does have a 2% discount, which is a really good talking point for you guys. If you use AR in context of your direct mail, the post office, through an approval process, will give you a 2% discount on the postage for that mailing. And that's something that we're seeing a lot of activity starting, because these campaigns are just starting to come online for 2019. And that promotional period is from March 1st through August 31st of this year. Augmented reality is a great tool to allow people to interact with products before they actually purchase. So much more than just being able to look at a picture or read some copy about that particular item. Are there any questions up till now?
No, I think we're pretty clear. As you're going through that, I definitely see a lot of different areas where this would fit outside of what I had just thought initially coming into this.
Sure. I'll just take you through a few applications, some simple applications that might help you brainstorm some more. So in order to actually interact with an AR experience, you have to have a mobile app that has the scanning technology built into it. So our solution, we have an SDK, or we have a means to make a mobile app, even an existing mobile app, an AR scanner, which is really important. So in this case, the retailer can take our SDK, drop it into an existing app, and then turn products that are on their shelves into scannable items that deliver content that are unique experiences that can either present offers, can present recipes. In this case, milk. It can present all kinds of other facts that might be relevant to the consumer around the product. Certainly, direct mail applications are huge. I'm just showing a couple of direct mail applications, but in this case, imagine you get a postcard in the mail, scan the postcard, and up pops a Porsche, a model of a Porsche that has a revving engine with the sound of the Porsche engine. And then when you tap that, and you can watch a video of the car driving. But then when you tap that button, it launches a web page that takes you to an online form where you can sign up for a test ride. So the mail. The combination of the mail, the mobile phone, and existing, web media or web content make a really, really smooth and transactional situation easy for the consumer. So instead of having to take the mail, sit down at a computer, type in a URL, you can now just use the phone to invoke that web browser or that AR browser, and then the experience can unfold organically on your phone. This example is kind of a mundane, item that you see every day in the world. It's a pharmaceutical label on the bottom of that wraps around a pharmaceutical label. In this application, it's a packaging application. The consumer can actually scan the label and then see all kinds of information that's pertinent to their prescription as well as the prescription itself. So the button on the upper left-hand corner, if they want to hit and do a refill, they can immediately do a refill from tapping that button. If they want to set a reminder, so they can use the app to set a reminder to tell them when to take the medicine. If they want to talk to somebody, maybe a pharmacist, about an interaction or any question they might have, they can immediately dial a phone number. Or if the organization has existing mobile or web chat, we can link. AR can be a link to that infrastructure. And then certainly any compliance information or documentation or any other video or care and use content is available through these buttons. And then ultimately, in their case, they wanted to create the opportunity to present a coupon or an offer. So that all happens with one scan of a pharmaceutical label. Really, really good stuff. Another packaging example is one of our customers is Procter & Gamble, and they're actually using the tool currently they're using it to do R&D to determine best way forward for the way that they design their physical brand packages. Their scenario would be that using our marker-based AR, meaning the package as a marker, and then also our location services, our location application. What they want to do is when you're in the store and you pick up this package from the shelf and you scan it with your AR browser, an offer would appear on the label. And that offer would say, hey, you are at such and such store, and if you buy today, you'll be able to get 75 cents off this product today when you redeem this coupon at the checkout. Because we know where that location is, we can then create an alternative experience that plays when the consumer scans the product after they leave the store. So, and it's tied to geography. In our system, I can draw a 1/10 of a mile radius around a brick and mortar facility. And then anytime anybody walks into that circle and scans anything that I have waiting for them to be scanned in that circle, it'll play one offer. And that offer, in their case, will be at location or at retail, will be a promotional offer. But when I get the package home, that promotional offer is really isn't relevant to me anymore, because I own the package and it's in my house, and that message is no longer useful to me. However, I might want to change the experience to convey care and use, dosing, and any other kind of information that's pertinent to the use of the product that doesn't include an offer. And it may still include an offer, but in this case, we're adding additional value to the consumer using packaging as a portal to convey, or a channel to convey, relevant information about care and use of the product. Where today they would have to go to a website, type in a URL, search through a bunch of stuff to find what they need. We're giving the consumer a really quick and easy way to interact with that information. Another application for marker-less AR is a promotional vehicle. In this case, the consumer can put, and this is one of our customers is the Seattle Sounders, this professional soccer team. So they're going to use it to do fan appreciation. And one of the things they want to do is they want to sell little sponsorship frames in their app to sponsorship partners that will then be used in context of creating a selfie with your favorite player. So using AR, the consumer can drag a model of the player onto a scene, and then they can go and stand in the scene and have a picture taken with that item as if it's actually really there. And then they can snap that picture and post it to social media and so forth. Certainly outdoor and any kind of outdoor applications, promotional or advertising or so forth are, some great applications for AR. Obviously, if we can do it outside, we can also do it inside. So any traditional point of sale can be turned into an AR browser and scanner that can trigger offers. In the milk case, one of the things the milk guys want to do is they want to actually, after you buy the milk, they want to start a clock running that will then tell the consumer when they get home after a few days when the milk is actually going to expire. And then at that time, present another offer for another gallon of milk. So kind of cool. And then AR is also really good since it's good at product engagement, we can actually use AR to create and deploy games. And gaming is good from the standpoint of it creates additional interaction with the brand. It's fun, and it has a significant entertainment value associated with it. The post office will give you a 2% discount on postage that aligns with the criteria that they have for submission. And like I said, this promotional period lasts from March 1st through August 31st. We're already starting to sign up customers today because there is a little bit of a lead time on production. But certainly you can do it at any point in time that's relevant for you. This little presentation just kind of shows you some of the things that are unacceptable. So the AR has to be a little bit more sophisticated than just launching a video. By adding clickable items to the screen to invoke other activities is preferable. And so this base piece that you see here is the actual printed mailer. And what you're looking at here is what you would see through the phone as the AR experience after you scan that mailer. So any inclusion of additional 3D content is preferable. buttons and the audio that you can add will also enhance the usability and the promotability of the campaign. Here's the campaign schedule, and all this is available. You know, we can send you this back, or there's also a ton of information online at the USPS store concerning these promotions. But it's in a lot of cases, for some of our larger mailing customers, the first discount that they get from some of these very, very large mailings more than pays for, you know, everything that they've done to get the promotion, to get approved for the promotion. So that's kind of an interesting sales pitch, or an interesting talking point that you can use. So again, the promotional period is March 1st through the 31st of August. There are some additional campaigns that might be able to be used in conjunction with this one to extend it out to 9 months as opposed to 6 months.
Do you know if this is in any real estate areas, like in any real estate companies? I would think a larger real estate company would, you know, on a for sale sign have, you know, whether it's an image or whatever it may be, to scan that and you get an instant home tour rather than having to wait till a Sunday open house to walk through. You can, I mean, I know you can do it online a lot of times, but then you got to be sitting down in front of in front of, you know, a piece of, you know, hardware versus just driving around. Oh, let's scan it and see what we get.
That's a really good application, I would say. And I've got a little bit of experience in finance mortgage on the agency side. Okay. So the real barrier to that application is typically all the marketing for an individual property is done by the realtor as a part of their commission. So they take a part of their commission and they carve out a piece of what they know that they're going to make in the sale, and they use that to do the promotion of that actual listing, right? So it would take a larger organization that is willing to kind of buy the tool set so that the mortgage broker or the realtor could use it in promoting in the property, right? And that's really, as I see it, because it would be a great application. It would have to come down to, you know, does an individual realtor have the wherewithal to use it to promote I mean, we have customers that are using it for commercial real estate for sure, and, you know, commercial developers and so forth. But at the residential level, what I've seen at least is, unless you could get the Remaxes or the, you know, Caldwell Bankers or whoever the larger organizations are to pay for that infrastructure, the average realtor just doesn't have the smarts or the budget to do it. You know, and I'm not saying it's expensive, especially if the infrastructure was in place. They could do it for dollars, and, you know. But it is a great application for
as you see it. I was kind of tunnel visioned a little bit coming into it because, you know, I know what we've seen already. I saw that you even had it in there, the 19 Crimes of Wine. You know, that's kind of what I've seen out there. So we kind of tied that into, hey, what do we do in our areas? And I've got a gentleman online as well, Carmen. Not sure if Carmen, are you dialed in as well?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, we've got you. Carmen, I think, had some questions too, so we'll let Carmen jump in here for a minute.
Matt, how's it going?
Good.
So I guess kind of looking at this is really neat stuff. My question as a consumer, I've also seen the 19 Crimes, but I've also downloaded the app, which is decently large, decently sized, scanned it, the bottle of wine, and watched the guy come alive. In some of these geographical ones where it's, you know, you said 10th of a mile outside of the grocery store, how does a user, or is a user able to opt in, or how does that work in a sense of, you know, are we just going to be bombarded with, you know, hey, you're close to this, buy this milk? How does that, is there some sort of, they download an app, or how do they know to do that to get to this experience?
Yes, that's an excellent question. So first of all, the 19 Crimes, if you look at those experiences, they don't do anything other than, you know, they're really just for entertainment value. There's no call to action associated with that experience. Right. There's no come back and here's an offer or any of that, right? So in a way, they're really not as effective, because most times you see it once, it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but there's no other reason to go back, right? So, and you made another observation, which is really good, and that is that app was a rather large download, meaning it took a long time for that to come down, and it's because the way that app is constructed is it has all that content on board. It's
right. You're downloading some 200 meg worth of video files.
Exactly. And 3D files.
Right.
So our approach is a little bit different. Our approach is the mobile app is essentially just a pass-through item. It's a browser, and all the content that you see on the phone actually exists in the cloud, and it gets pushed down to the phone by request. So so that means it can be edited on the fly and then delivered on the fly. So the app itself, our apps are usually pretty lightweight, downloads, number one. And then to the other point about communicating, you are this far away from a new carton of milk. Those are all additional things that you can do as part of a push strategy. But for the most part, what we see our clients doing is, look, we're going to add this functionality to our app, and then over time we're going to add it as a feature of an existing app, and then over time we're going to continue to develop it as a communication channel, right? So that if it's there for the consumer to use, if they want to use it, great. If they don't want to use it, well, then too bad for them, right? But they're going to use it as a way to continually enhance the brand experience and the engagement opportunity that they have with the consumer. Now, it's also important to note that, and I wanted to show you these slides real quick because it's a good segue. We are tracking every single interaction with the content on the phone, right? So we have an integration with Google Firebase, which Google Firebase is actually the mobile version of Google Analytics. So every single interaction, every click, every tap, every scan, every location, time of day, whatever, we're tracking all that and recording all that data to be used however you might want to use it. So if you are think about a print campaign, a direct mail print campaign. Typically, unless somebody hit a website from a call to action on the print campaign, there really isn't a whole hell of a lot of ways to connect to determine whether or not that campaign was successful. Okay, so if we add AR to these campaigns and then the consumer interacts with that piece, what you're looking at here is actually a set of screens that we're working on right now that would do visual reporting to show the marketer where people are at when they scan or they engage with that printed document. And then through an offline process, you could take this data and resolve it back to a physical location, either a household or a business location, right? Which would then enhance your marketing intelligence about that user and whether or not it was effective and all sorts of things. So that's another really, really good strength of AR is in relationship with the print. It does kind of finish the golf swing on interaction, or at least gives you another opportunity to collect data about interaction with the physical printed item, which is really powerful. Any other questions?
Cool. Thanks for answering that.
Sure.
I think I'm okay
Anything
for right
else?
now. No, I definitely appreciate the time and the information.
Sure.
And I'm looking forward to sharing this as well.